Hello, welcome back to Art School, and today, finally, I'll be doing my review for GC Event 1 2015. Yes, hello, welcome back to LARP School once again. Back with something new, something that's a little bit different, a LARP School review. Now, I'll be hoping to get out and explore more systems throughout the rest of this year and next year, money dependent, and basically spreading the word about different systems is what I want to do. Now, if you go attend different systems, whether that be here in the UK, abroad, in Europe, in America, Asia, wherever, do get in touch and, put a link up to your videos as well, your reviews of different LARPs. Now, this isn't going to necessarily be a normal review per se, sort of positive, negatives, because I feel that the internet's too much towards that sort of thing. So I'll basically be walking through sort of what happened without like major spoilers towards certain plot points and stuff. I will turn around and say it was a fantastic weekend. I was monstering throughout this weekend with a couple of minutes of play. So no better place to start than the setup. Now, I'm a part of the site team, which means that I help out in setting everything up. And it was really good this year. Last year, we still got all the exact same materials, but last year we were very sort of lackluster when it came to base defences. This year, just from the first event, we went straight out. We made sure the walls, normally we managed to get them up to about 3 foot, quite small walls. We managed to get full 6 foot walls from the same materials that we were using before, which was really good to see. And I'm not sure how they held up, but by the looks of things, they did hold up pretty well. So that was really good to see. A lot more people as well, a lot more new people over the winter. Recruitment drive's been going on. There was around about 50, just shy of 50 people in Delmont, which was really good to see. That's just one of the 4 factions. I think we had around about 150, 160 people attend first event, which was really good to see. And I was quite taken aback actually by seeing just how many people there were in Delmont now. I remember even just a couple of years ago, there was about 15 of us max, and seeing it sort of explode into what it is amazing to see. So starting off at the beginning, we had the usual talks, making sure everybody's sort of hyped and pumped, ready to go, which I felt went really well, especially as it was my last one, which I wasn't aware of at the time, but it's the nature of the game. So we finally went into timing. Everyone went off to do their little sort of drop point, welcome to the game sort of start-up little linears. I was taking around all the camps, and obviously, you've heard the story now if you watched my last character video. I got killed there. I spent 10 minutes sort of laying on the ground whilst I was kept company by a certain Mr. Hopper. Thank you very much for kicking me while I was down for those 10 minutes. A lot of people, going back to character quickly, and I apologise, this is probably going to be a very long video because I'm going to go off topic so much. But, a lot of people, when they die, they want to be on their own. I was really happy actually that he stuck around with me, because it was bloody freezing just laying there on the ground, and he was entertaining, to have him there, to have a bit of company while that was going on. So that was really nice. And then the camp opposite from the one where I was killed, they took me into their command tent. They've got a huge command tent. I think now it must be at least 12 foot wide by, I'd say, easily 30 foot deep, if not deeper. It's massive, filled with benches and tables. It's beautiful in there. But they took my body into there to sort of lay down on the bench. While all this was going on, I wasn't aware, what was going to happen. I didn't know when would be the ideal time for me to sort of time out as my dead character, because there was still quite a lot of attention going on around what had just happened. So I think I stayed there for about 15 minutes. So overall, sort of, I was just laying there for around about half an hour, I'd say, max. If it was longer, then fantastic. Definitely one of the longest times I've gone without smoking in a LARP. The longest time's actually near the end of the weekend, which I'll get to later. Now, that first night, I didn't really feel too much like monstering or doing, any encounters. I did get involved, but I thought, you know what, fuck it, I really need a drink. So I went and bought a couple of bottles of mead from Davidoff's bar. I'll put a link down to the website for his place as well. You can hire him to LARP events. Absolutely great atmosphere and great set out now with the new tent. Much bigger, much better, and so friendly. I'll put that down below. Please remember Rhys. But yeah, I did get involved with a few bits throughout the night. This is the part where it's going to be awkward because it's trying to remember everything, and I will not remember everything. But on that Friday night, I totally avoided Delmont. For the pure and simple reason I didn't want to get involved. I just died, and it's generally that time people are like, but I think I'd done an NPC talkie role. No, I was reffing. I was just reffing, actually. Sat down and got something to eat, which was really nice to do. I must say, one of the things I'm looking forward to doing, actually, just being able to sit down and eat when I want. But yeah, no, I helped ref a couple of the night encounters. There was basically small waves of attacks going into each base, keeping people busy. There was also arrest warrants out for the arrest of my character, which was awkward because I died. And there are a couple of other little bits in there as well, but mainly it was just sort of setting up, you're back in this area with the tech dead, who are basically zombies, but implanted with tech, living nanobot technology to sort of reanimate and repurpose them. And it was just sort of getting the players back into the mindset of, you're back into the war zone, this is your enemy, go out and fight them. Which was fantastic. So that's all I can really remember from the Friday night. For the Saturday, this was a busy day. So I will miss some things, and I will not discuss other things as well. So if I don't say something, it's either because I've forgotten about it or because I can't talk about it. For reasons which you'll find out later down the road if you're attending GC. If you don't attend GC, this is stuff I'll be able to say later, but I'm not going to disclose it this time. I'll disclose it at a time when I can disclose it. So Saturday starting off in the morning. It was a slightly quiet morning. It was the same very much as Friday night, just getting people back into the habit of, forming the lines with the attacks. So it's the Friday, especially in the first event, is very much about reteaching the players to work together, to form the lines, to attack and to defend. And then I had to go in as a politician's aide, basically. Basically, the 109th are going to be having elections at next event, and I went in as the Prime Delegate's aide, who the Prime Delegate is basically the President, the Prime Minister, the leader of the 109th's planet. So I went in there. They met him before already at their sanctioned event earlier in the year, and basically just letting them know, this is what we're about, the space web is fantastic stuff. It's going to stop anything from coming through. Don't worry about the tech dead. That's why you're here, isn't it? You're going to be stopping the tech dead. basically just, you know, giving my master's manifesto as to why you should vote for him, which was good fun. I like political play like that, and it's going to be interesting to see how they vote at the next event, because the elections will be taking place, which should be fun. Whether or not that their votes are going to, you know, reflect what the rest of the planet thinks, you'll have to find out. But that was really good to take part in. I do like doing talky things, especially snooty, like things. It's good stuff. Friday night, yes, I've just remembered a thing I'd done as well. I was basically a hologram, and I was a friend of the EXO of the 109th. The EXO of the 109th. I was, you know, an old friend back from the day. But from when, you know, we were doing a couple of jobs back in the old logistics corps. You know how it is, that sort of thing. So I was doing this voice, and basically I had to tell him, you know, don't vote McCallie. Whatever you do, just don't vote for him. He's got bad stuff planned. I don't think it's going to be what's best for Durgan, if you know what I mean. Just make sure you don't vote for him. Make sure you don't get in, alright? Yeah, no worries, mate. I'll talk to you later. I don't know why I done that accent at all. It's just one that I thought of on the spot, so I did it. But that was fun. Back forward to Saturday, there was a lot of painting. I must say I did monster a little bit, but I was saying I was probably reffing for more than I was monstering. But then it started getting into group monstering slots. So something that's new for this year is getting each of the regiments, getting each of the regiments in at slots to do monstering. And this is just a way to boost up the numbers of the monsters, because really at the moment we only have a team of, you know, 8 or 10 people. So it's really good to have that big boost of numbers for like 2-hour slots. And it really does help make, you know, a foreboding army. And it means that you can do multiple things at once. Whereas with a small team, we're kind of stuck with doing one thing at a time. So we were doing that, painting up a lot of tech dead for the 23rd's linear. Now this linear, because they would be monstering the final battle, this was basically their final battle. They were going to get the info and intel as to exactly where Judas was, who was the main bad for this for last year and this event. You know, they were going to get the intel, so then we knew where he was, so we could take him out. So the 23rd linear went on. I was reffing for that one, making sure the monsters were okay, and basically making sure that the people were where they needed to be. Although there was a lot of other refs as well around doing that as well, making sure everybody was good in position and doing what they needed to be doing. That went really well, actually. The 98th did turn up, which I found surprising, and please ignore that noise, it's my cat. The 98th turned up, which was a bit of a surprise to everyone, but it didn't hamper things too much, because they didn't bring the bomb, so that's good. They did send someone off to retrieve the bomb, but they didn't get it back and in time. If they brought the bomb with them, oh god, that would have been a ref's nightmare, because how the fuck do you do that? But yeah, so that was good. And then with Saturday evening, sort of late afternoon, early evening, we had a rock golem turned up with our very own head monster Sammy Kilsby in there. It was really good to see him do that sort of thing, because he does do so much work, and he doesn't really get to enjoy himself too much, like get to do some fun silly little things. So he was walking around as this rock golem. It must have been at least 8-9 foot. It was a massive costume. It was beautiful. You may have seen it elsewhere in other systems, but it was a fantastic little thing. And that went round all the camps, you know, sort of just going pew, 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 just shooting at them, just generally, you know, giving them a hard time, but nothing too bad. Then we all went round as Wumbakar, the Wumpa car turned up. I may not be getting all this in the right order as well, I apologise for that. Now, the Wumpa car have been recurring characters now for 3.5, 4 years now. They're old school GC, they're proper old school. But they were rocking up with Freya, who's currently in charge of the Wumpa car. And it was going around each of the camps, attacking as you do. Just, reminding them, Wumpa car's here, we're still going to kill all of you, you weak, pathetic humans. And they were sort of dishing them out. Got to the 23rd camp, and there's been an ongoing thing with Freya and a character called Riley. He calls himself Captain Riley. You're not a captain yet. So that was fun as well. He got taken off to an Omega Circle. Fun times. And also during that day as well, thank you, Mr. Cat. Throughout that day as well, I also, donned some glasses and just stood around all the camps for a bit, just typing away. That was good fun. That was just, stand around the base somewhere, type a bit, and good fun. For the Saturday night, it was still more tech dead, more waves and waves, sort of getting more intense each time. This was, to sort of heighten things up for the main battle in the morning, and then sort of the Sunday rolled around. And with the Sunday, that's when the main battle was. So there wasn't too much. There was a couple of small waves in the morning, but there were the war meetings. I presume I didn't see any, unfortunately. But there would be the war meetings, for the preparations of the final bout, the big fight that was cut short from us in the last event. And this is the time where it's the longest I haven't smoked in LARP. It was ridiculous. It was like 2 hours. I'm like, Jesus, I need a smoke. But I came back as Mavis. So Mavis was back with the Great Unnamed One next to him, who's basically a god. A god. I won't say any more than that because I don't know what people know I see as their characters. So I was born anew, and I got to bring out my armour and my weapon, which I'd had made for Mavis 2.0, who was basically the one who was standing there. It was the Mavis I always wanted. And the funny story about the whole Mavis saga is I always wanted Mavis to become a bad guy. Always wanted that. Because I feel that the story and the way the character was going would have managed to fit much better in with, the bad guys and causing lots of trouble, rather than being a faction CO. That doesn't mean, I wouldn't want to be CO anymore. Of course, I loved doing that, and there were a lot of plans in place, which I've now, put forward to the next lineup. So the information's there, the ideas are there. If they wish to use them, then they can use them. If not, then that's fair enough as well. Everybody leads a faction, regiment in a different way. So I wish Pete all the best. He should be fantastic. I've got a lot of faith in him. But yeah, the final battle rolled on, and I was basically following the Great Unnamed One throughout all of this. No one was fucking with the Great Unnamed One. I would have said, if I'd done anything different in that, I probably would have used more calls. I was very sort of nervous, I've never done a big monstering sort of thing with a large group. I've done it at Sanctioned, but not here. And it was very, very bizarre, having Mavis out there, a character everyone knows. And in my head, I'm trying to think of, how can I how can I play devil's advocate with this thing? How can I do things better next time, if there is a next time? So in my head, I know exactly what I'll be doing with Mavis if Mavis was to come back. That's obviously in the hands of the plot writers. But yeah, no, there's a lot of interesting things coming. But yeah, I was following him around. Kangor was there as well. Kangor's, I've spoken about him before, was the leader of the Wombakar, is also a child of the Great Unnamed One. We had a little bit of a brotherly falling out. He was sort of laughing at me a bit, and then he went to attack me. That was fun. You just sort of take him out a bit, and just a little bit of a fight. In the end, though, the tech dead were wiped out. They did successfully attach the bomb to Judas. Judas exploded, and then Kangor, said, "Oh, Father, my task is done," because his task is to basically stop the creation of the godchildren. And he felt that by destroying the Wombakar, knowing that the godchildren were part tech, part adept, that by taking out the godchildren and the tech dead, that the godchildren would be no more. The Great Unknown One replies with, "No, your task is not done. The godchildren are still there in the future. Your task is yet to be complete." Which Kangor had a little bit of a tantrum, bless him. Started attacking the GreenCloaks. I went in there once they'd had fun with him. Sort of picked him up with one arm and walked him off for the Great Unknown One, so Daddy can do what he likes with him, which should be good. And then, during this battle, people obviously died. There were there were 3 definite deaths that I'm thinking of at the moment. These 3 people basically accepted the Great Unnamed One's gift of either power or life. One was a Masked who died midway through the battle, so he was picked up and disintegrated. His body was decimated because he made the deal. He made the deal for power. He died. The body belongs to the Great Unnamed One. The other 2, I've forgotten the names. I do apologise. Were resurrected from death by the Great Unnamed One. They were given the gift of life once more, but only until the battle ended. Only until the end of that battle. And the Great Unknown One stood in front of the GreenCloaks and called forward for those who had made a deal with him. And he said, "You have 2 minutes. Though those who I gave life to, you have 2 minutes of life remaining." And that was that. And they were both from the 109th. And Digger, who's the XO, Tara said, "You can't do that. Look, can't keep them alive some way." And I don't have the speech here in front of me, unfortunately. But it basically went along the lines of the laws of reality. I can bend them to my will, but to bring these 2 back for good would cost the lives of everybody else on this planet. Are these 2 really worth that much? Sort of thing. It was evil, but pretty fair when you think about trying to play not a completely evil guy, but a guy's a bit of dick and a guy who has a shitload of power. So they were executed actually by their own faction, by the 109th. There was the ceremony of the sword, where they used their sword of justice or whatever sword they've got at the moment. And they beheaded, the 2 people who had to die. And that was a really emotional bit of roleplay. It was really good to see, though. It's fantastic. There are a lot of tears with that. And that, I think, is actually a beautiful ending towards the next event. Now, they did manage to go back up to their base camps for around about 40 minutes for a little bit of post-battle roleplay. And then that was the end of the event. Then it was packed down and all of that. But it's beautiful. There's so many different dynamics going on at the moment. You've got dynamics between Delmont and Kingskeep. There's a lot of friction there. You've got friction between the 109th and the Great Unnamed One. possibly Delmont and the Great Unnamed One as well. I know a few people saw me and, you know, they could see and they were told by Rhys that that's Mavis right there. That's your CO, former CO. Should I come back and just obliterate them to get my CO position back? No, I'll be nice. I'll let the plot writers do whatever. But all in all, it was a really good event. I can't really comment from a player side, all the players that I've spoken to, because I'm still very much in touch with all the players. I still talk to them, you know, ask them how things are going, is there anything more you'd like to see, anything less. I think people enjoyed it a lot more this time because nearly a complete absence of marksmans. The little sniper bastards who come out at night and then basically just keep you pinned down for 2 hours each night, which is a pain in the ass. But so all in all, I've heard really good things. I thoroughly enjoyed myself being on the other side from the players this time, and I look forward to doing it again next time. What's in store, who knows? But you're going to have a great event, I know that much. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Next time I may do a creation piece. There's something I've been working on for someone, so I may talk about that. In about 3 weeks I've got another LARP which I'm doing with the guy who made my armour and stuff for me, and I will be doing combat there because obviously I said all those months ago that the next combat one will be about the combat games and the games that you can do. So I'll be filming that for sure at the end of May, so that should be up sort of early June, and yeah, that's looking like it's going to be good. So combat will be coming back eventually. You may also get some different combat as well, to which I can't really talk too much about because I still need to go through details with the person involved, make sure they're sort of happy with everything. But you should be seeing more very, very shortly. But until then, anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all the new subscribers as well. Nearly at 200 already, which was my end of year goal. So thank you all so much. I think we're 9 away from 200. I won't be doing a 200 special. I will be doing a 250 special though. So keep sharing around, keep posting all that stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh, that feels dirty saying that. But anyway, take care. Goodbye for now.